The traveler stood in the center of the ruined temple, his fingers trembling against the cold, metallic surface of the key. It was heavier than it looked. He turned it, watching as the etched patterns beneath his thumb seemed to crawl and shift under the dim light. This was not mere metal. It felt alive, humming with a low, rhythmic vibration that traveled up his arm. He tucked the object into his pouch and stepped out into the biting mountain wind. The air here tasted of ozone and ancient dust. He unfolded the map, the parchment brittle and yellowed against his palms. He held it up, squinting at the horizon. The three symbols, the mountain, the temple, and the royal mark, snapped into place against the jagged skyline before him. He traced the lines with a calloused finger, his eyes locking onto a faint, unnatural shadow cast by a peak to the north. The path ahead was a jagged scar against the rock face. He tightened his grip on the map, folded it away, and took his first step toward the summit. The slope was not a path. It was a trap of loose shale and vertical ambition. Every step required a calculation of weight and friction. He dug his boots into the grit, but the mountain resisted, sending small avalanches of stone clattering into the abyss below. By midday, the wind had sharpened into a blade. It whipped against his face, forcing him to squint against the stinging dust. He reached for his water skin, but it was light, nearly empty, a hollow reminder of how long he had been climbing. He pushed on. A narrow ledge appeared, barely wide enough for his feet. He leaned into the rock, breath hitching as the stone beneath his heel crumbled away. He lunged, fingers clawing into a jagged crevice to anchor his weight. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic rhythm in the vast, indifferent silence. He pulled himself up, gasping, his muscles burning with the effort. The terrain grew steeper, the air thinner. By the second day, the last of his rations were gone. Before him stood a sheer cliff face, smooth and imposing. He pressed his palm against the freezing rock. His hand caught on a protrusion, a stone carving shaped like a keyhole. His fingers traced the cold, precise edges of the stone carving. It was a perfect fit. He pulled the heavy etched key from his pouch and pressed it into the slot. The metal bit into the stone with a sharp, grinding sound that echoed against the cliff face. He gripped the handle and twisted. The mechanism did not turn easily. He leaned his entire weight against the key, his boots sliding on the loose shale, until the internal tumblers shifted with a heavy, metallic thud. Silence followed, deeper and more absolute than before. Then, the mountain groaned. A low, tectonic rumble vibrated through the soles of his boots. Dust and pebbles rained down from the overhead ledge as the massive slab of rock before him began to move. It did not swing outward. It slid inward. A vertical fissure widened, revealing a darkness that seemed to swallow the light of the day. Beyond the gap, a spiraling staircase emerged. He took a breath, gripped his torch, and stepped over the threshold. Behind him, the wind continued to howl, replaced by the rhythmic, hollow echo of his own boots. The staircase ended at a heavy bronze door. He pushed, the metal groaning against the stone floor until it swung wide. He stepped into the chamber, his torchlight sweeping across rows of stone tablets and tightly wound scrolls. This was the archive of a lost age. In the center, a pedestal rose from the floor, and upon it sat the golden crown. It caught the torchlight, reflecting a dull, heavy glow. He took 3 steps toward it, his boots scraping against the grit-covered floor. On the 4th step, the stone beneath his heel dipped. A sharp click echoed through the room. Before he could retreat, the bronze door behind him slammed shut with a force that shook the dust from the ceiling. He spun around, slamming his palms against the metal. The air in the room grew stagnant. He turned back to the wall. A single inscription caught the light, glowing with an internal, faint luminescence. The words were etched deep. Truth is the weight that balances the gold. He looked at the crown, then at the key still in his hand, then back to the pedestal. The realization hit him with the weight of the mountain itself. He stepped toward the pedestal, his fingers hovering over the slot, preparing to return the key. He pressed the key into the pedestal slot. The floor shuddered. a deep, grinding vibration that rattled his teeth. Behind him, the bronze door slid open, revealing the path back to the surface. He did not look back at the crown. He walked out, his boots crunching on the stone, until the cold morning air hit his face. The sun was just breaking over the horizon, painting the mountain in sharp, golden light. He pulled the brittle map from his pouch, held it over a small, smoldering fire pit, and watched the paper curl into black ash. The wind caught the remnants, scattering them across the peaks. He turned away from the mountain, his hands empty, his pace steady. The secret remained buried, and he was the only one who knew the weight of it.